Every year on July 1st, India pauses to observe National Doctors' Day, honoring the medical professionals who keep the country's massive population alive. But the specific date hides a fascinating chronological anomaly. The man this holiday is named after was born on July 1st, 1882, and died on that exact same day, precisely 80 years later. That man is Dr. Bidhan Chandra Roy, a physician so revered that the Indian government awarded him the Bharat Ratna, the nation's highest civilian honor. Yet, if you look at the physical marks he left on the world, a strange paradox emerges. The monuments to his life's work are largely absent from hospital wards. Usually, a legendary doctor leaves behind surgical innovations or stacks of published medical journals. Dr. Roy left behind massive steel plants, sprawling industrial complexes, and entirely new educational networks. He drew up the blueprints and laid the groundwork for entirely new, meticulously planned city grids. This is a person who traveled to England and conquered the absolute highest echelons of clinical medical training. Pivoting from a stethoscope to heavy state building is highly irregular. So how does a man rigorously trained to heal biological bodies end up engineering the physical infrastructure of a modern state? Long before he drew up city plans, Bidhan Chandra Roy was a kid from Patna, born in 1882, who quickly developed a reputation for a staggering work ethic and a sharp, absorbent mind. He channeled that intellect into the biological sciences, enrolling at the prestigious Calcutta Medical College. He accelerated through the curriculum at a breakneck pace. He eventually traveled to England to push his limits further, securing 2 highly coveted medical degrees in an incredibly compressed time frame. When he returned to India, his clinical skills were unmatched. He quickly built an elite reputation, diagnosing complex ailments and becoming one of the most sought-after physicians in the country. But absolute mastery over individual human biology comes with a sobering realization. In the volatile era he was living through, curing one patient at a time was mathematically insufficient. Dr. Roy operated on a strict personal philosophy. Possessing medical expertise meant very little if you weren't actively applying it to serve the broader society. And society in post-independence Bengal required desperate attention. The region was socially fractured, economically drained, and dealing with the massive logistical fallout of partition. Looking at the widespread poverty and failing infrastructure, his diagnostic perspective shifted. The patient was no longer the single person lying on the examination table. The patient was the state itself. He recognized that administrative chaos and economic collapse were symptoms of systemic disease. To cure them, he would need to apply the exact same clinical precision he used in the hospital ward to the messy world of politics. In 1948, he stepped into the role of the second chief minister of West Bengal. It was the beginning of a relentless 14-year treatment plan. He immediately attacked the underlying conditions. He drove heavy industrial growth to stabilize the economy, and simultaneously overhauled the state's entire educational and healthcare networks to ensure long-term vitality. Then came the structural engineering. To relieve the pressure on existing infrastructure, he conceptualized and built 4 sprawling, highly planned cities from the ground up: Durgapur, Kalyani, Bidhannagar, and Ashoknagar. He never really left his profession behind. He simply scaled up his practice, treating the physical geography and the economic lifeblood of millions of people all at once. When Dr. Roy took his final breath on July 1st, 1962, closing the 80-year loop of his life, his massive patient was finally stabilizing. He left behind a modernized, heavily industrialized foundation that continues to support West Bengal today. True, lasting societal repair rarely comes from ideology alone. It requires the granular, empathetic precision of a physician, paired directly with the sweeping, structural vision of a master architect. Dr. B.C. Roy forces us to expand our definition of a healer. He proved that the exact same careful, rigorous attention used to save a single human life can be magnified, engineered, and deployed to build a modern state.